Hey, what's up, YouTube? Lawler here. As always, we've got a mid-season RLCS update for you guys when it comes to rosters. As always, you guys know the easiest way to stay up to date on this, check the description in the video to pull up my roster document. We try to update this as frequently as possible, and has been a bit since the update, probably about 3 or 4 weeks. There's 2 teams we're basically having a conversation around today, but if you guys are trying to stay up to date on all the other things, don't worry, they're all in here. And the other thing, at the very top, we are doing a updated community power ranking. There is a link in there. I talked about this in the other video on Monday as well. Go submit your top 10 power ranked teams. We will be covering those for a video likely on Friday. That being said, the conversation today revolves around 2 teams. Number 1, Dignitas. We haven't heard much about. Obviously, they had a really tough Swiss stage. They did not make it into the top 16. So what is going on with 5UP and crew, we will have to wait and see. Still not sure if changes will happen there. On the other side, though, we do have updates from Shift doing the dirty work, talking about M80. They teased about a week or 2 ago that there was conversations potentially around rebuilding around Mech. Obviously, if you guys don't remember, Mech played on Pirates on a Boat in the LCQ, had a top 6 result that was pretty exciting, popped off, had a really good play style, and has kind of been built around moving in. M80 so far have used Devo, and I got to check my own document because I forget, but they had Devo and Eris and did not find results. They basically gave the reins to Nick again, and were put in charge of, hey, on a budget, build us a team that can make top 5, hopefully top 4, and get into the World Championship and in majors. So far, not so good. So, because of that, rather than waiting and taking their measly, point, it is probably better for them to try to make a better iteration and see if they can do something for the future. Now, a lot of people look at what went down this past weekend. If you guys didn't watch Monday's video, or technically Tuesday's video for the recap, we have discussed and talked about the fact that, hey, Redacted needs to get picked up. Redacted as a team would talk 2-piece and Wavy, 2/3 former Shopify, bringing in talk, top 4 in the region, and a pretty dang solid result when it comes to top 4 in international competition at the kickoff lane, taking down NIP, many would argue a top 3 seed in Europe. Still not signed. So that bears the question, if I'm Dignitas, or if I am M80, why am I wasting money on a team when there's a team like that available? And I'm going to just tell you straight up, it's the money. Objectively right now, unless you are part of the partnership program and the marketing program with Epic, and even still, financially, it isn't really a good game to be in. RL Esports is probably a big loss leader when it comes to the cost that you spend to pick up a team versus how much money you can make back based upon being in their partnership program. It is, by all means, a net negative. That being said, a lot of people like being in Rocket League Esports because it is E for everyone. It's super easy to understand. And sure, we can be in all these shooters and FPSs and stuff like that, and maybe a sponsor comes along and goes, man, do you guys have anything that's a little bit more kid-friendly? Do you have anything that's a little bit more accessible? Something that's a little bit easier to understand? You know, we're this big company, but we don't really get the whole esports thing. You sit them down, you point to them towards Rocket League, and they go, all right, I understand this. So it is a good option to have for a lot of organizations, which is why they come into it. So there's this balance between, while yes, we're willing to eat the cost, but how much are we willing to eat? M80 is kind of in that in between. M80 does not sign a team like Redacted because financially it's too expensive, and rightfully so. When you're making that big push, when you're making the big majors and the big events, you're worth a little bit more in value, more eyes and attention. The broadcast this past weekend had like 75,000 viewers, the most it's had in a really long time. Hopefully not botted. I haven't looked at the numbers yet, but this is the most eyes that have been on RLCS in a long time, and it's just getting started. So the demand that if I am Redacted, if I'm trying to make and saying, hey, we deserve at least this amount, we've got a very good chance to go to the major, we're already doing XYZ things, yeah, you're going to ask for more. And I can tell you, based upon the inside knowledge I know, M80 currently is probably paying their players anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 a month per player. So about $4,500 a month plus coach, whatever they pay the coach. Coach is usually a little bit less, plus prize pool earnings and stuff like that to recoup some of the costs. So If I'm redacted, I'm probably asking for 3 times that per player. I'm asking for probably a 4.5. So it's probably a little bit outside of M80's budget. So while it's good to have org representation, orgs also still need to be smart about how much they're willing to spend. That is why that has not happened. Okay. So that clears the air on that. Hopefully that provides insight about the business side of things and why that's going down. On the other side of things, let's talk about M80 themselves. Mech is the focus. Mech is the new up and coming player. Mech has a pretty firm understanding, pretty good game IQ, still a little bit raw, but he's getting there. They are planning on potentially bringing in the veteran that is NOLY and Life. If you guys don't know Life, plays for SOS and stuff in the past, was a Switch player at one point. The community funded him a PC, has been playing and competing at a pretty decent level ever since. So it looks like the pairing of 2 young talent with a veteran player. Now, many have not seen NOLY compete at the highest level in a while. He was recently signed and currently is still on Lotus 8 as a player. Lotus 8 did okay in Swiss, about where we expected, not making top 16. But outside of that, NOLY has decided he wants to stay in North America for schooling purposes. He likes the culture here, but primarily is playing CRL so he can keep his work visa, and is now also playing for a team. Whether you love or hate, NOLY was probably the underperformer when he was on OG. When you look at the results at majors and stuff with Com and JNAPs, NOLY did have an underperformance. So stocks on NOLY are a little bit low. That being said, when NOLY was at his peaks, he was known as a setup guy. He plays the unselfish game. He's really good at facilitating play. He's really good at diming up his players with good passes. It is what gave him the stocks to go and play for K-Corp as a filler and win their in-person event. So the talent is there. The know-how is there. Is the leadership and all the other things going to be enough around Life and Mech to steer them in the right direction with the help of Nick? That we do not know. If I'm a betting man, I feel like this is kind of a lateral move. While yes, it is building for the long term based upon what is available in the field, do I think this team is going to go and surprise and upset and do some crazy stuff? No, I really don't. And I don't mean to be harsh on it right away, but you guys come here for the brutal honesty, and I'm going to tell you this team probably isn't going to do a whole lot. That being said, Mech and Life have a long future ahead of them. I think if they continue to grind and are in the right environment and keep doing the right things, they should make some pretty big impact. And worst case scenario, like we've seen many other players, it increases their individual stock. Topher was one of those players that had been in the space for a while. He started taking it seriously. He paired up with some veterans on the 9 Lives roster, immediately got sniped, and now look at him. He's playing for Shopify. Now he's playing for Shopify Rebellion. Or he's playing for Space Station. Now he's playing for Shopify Rebellion. He's considered one of the best in NA. So you just never know what can happen. At the end of the day, all you can do is control what's in front of you. So for Mech, NOLY, and Life, the best of luck to them, even though I think it's going to be an uphill battle. Outside of that, obviously we know kickoff LAN and everything has concluded. We are kind of wrapped up for this year of RLCS before we get into 2026 with Open 2. We do have a FIFAe World Cup, just as a heads up. All of the countries are going to be having their representatives fly out. That will start next Monday. It'll go from Monday until, I think, Thursday. It's going to be for 4 or 5 days. You're at Saudi Arabia, $250,000 on the line. All the different countries playing in sets of 2, like we saw last year. So that'll go down all next week. We'll be hanging out, watching those on the stream, most likely. But keep that in mind. That is what is up next for the competitive scene. Outside of that, on this channel, I will try to provide coverage on whatever the heck goes down, whether it be roster information or any news that's going on in the space. But expect a little bit of quiet from the channel, maybe. If there's not a whole lot going on, Open 2 is not for a ways out. It's not until like January 10th, so a little bit of a holiday break for y'all. If you guys would like to see other things, we do have power rankings coming up tomorrow. And outside of that, I've got scrims that are going to be starting up again, but scrims are kind of put on hiatus too because our very own David to die for is going to be going and competing at FIFAe. So we'll see what we've got around. But if you have any suggestions on content you'd like to see, stuff you'd like to see, stop by the stream, hit up the socials, drop comments down below, like, subscribe, everything. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.